There is a force, invisible and omnipotent, that governs the trajectory of your life. It moves in the shadows of your daily interactions, whispers in the echoes of the conversations you have, and writes the blueprint of your destiny with the hands of those you hold closest. You feel its effects in every surge of momentum, in every period of stagnation, in the quiet satisfaction of a goal achieved, and the hollow ache of a dream deferred. You have been taught to look within for the source of your power, and this is true. But you have not been told the full truth. The power within does not exist in a vacuum. It is either amplified to celestial volumes or silenced to a whisper by the one environment you have, until now, perhaps neglected to command. This is not about your mindset, your habits, or your morning routine. This is about the ecosystem of your existence. This is about the 5 people, the inner circle, the mastermind, and this is the first and final frontier of true leadership. Not the leadership of others, but the sovereign leadership of the world you have built around your own soul. For centuries, the great architects of industry and art have understood a fundamental law of the universe, one that modern science now confirms, but that ancient kings and builders knew in their bones. It is the law of resonance. Iron sharpens iron, but mediocrity too sharpens mediocrity. A single thread of wool cannot hope to insulate against the howling storm, but woven tightly with a million other threads, it becomes a fortress. You are that thread, and your fortune, your legacy, your very consciousness is being woven right now by the people you have granted access to your loom. Andrew Carnegie, the penniless immigrant who built an empire of steel, did not do so alone. He stood upon a foundation of minds, a mastermind, a council of brilliant, relentless individuals whose collective intelligence and drive forged a power greater than any one man could possess. He did not merely have friends. He curated a cabinet for his destiny. He understood that proximity is not passive. It is metabolic. The people around you are not just company. They are the very atmosphere you breathe, and they determine whether you suffocate, merely survive, or learn to fly. Consider the very physics of your being. You are a collection of atoms, vibrating at a specific frequency. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, they all emit a unique energy signature. And like a tuning fork struck in a silent room, you compel the forks around you to vibrate in harmony with your own tone. But here is the critical and often overlooked counter-law. You are also being compelled by them. Every conversation is an exchange of energy. Every shared complaint is a mutual lowering of frequency. Every celebrated victory is a synchronized surge of power. When you spend your days with those who speak the language of excuses, your mind begins to translate your own ambitions into that same dialect. When you surround yourself with those who trade in the currency of solutions, your own problems begin to look like opportunities in disguise. This is not mystical conjecture. This is the fundamental nature of influence. You are, at this very moment, a living average of the 5 people you allow to influence you most. Look at your bank account. Look at your health. Look at the quality of your relationships and the fire in your spirit. Now, look at theirs. Coincidence? There are no coincidences in the architecture of a life. There are only consequences, meticulously engineered by the company you keep. The music swells slightly. The tone becomes more direct, more challenging. So I ask you, with the gravity this question demands, who sits on your personal board of directors? Who has a vote in the private chambers where your future is decided? Is it the friend from childhood, tethered to you by nothing more than the ghost of a memory, who now only knows the language of limitation? Is it the colleague who confuses camaraderie with commiseration, who greets your ambition with a cynical smile and a warning about being realistic? You must understand, to allow someone a seat at your table is to grant them the power to shape your reality. Their fears become silent saboteurs in your mind. Their doubts become invisible ceilings on your potential. You have been trying to build a skyscraper with a crew that only knows how to assemble sandcastles, and you wonder why the foundation shakes when the winds of opportunity blow. This is not their failure. It is your failure of leadership. You have not commanded your circle. You have accepted it. You have inherited it. You have settled for it. And in that settlement, you have signed a contract for a life of quiet compromise. The first and most brutal act of self-leadership is to conduct an audit of your inner circle with the unflinching objectivity of a wartime general. This is not an act of cruelty. It is the highest form of self-respect. You must evaluate every relationship not on the basis of its history, but on the basis of its future. Not on comfort, but on construction. Does this person elevate my energy or deplete it? Do our conversations build bridges to the future? Or do they simply rehash the grievances of the past? Do they see the version of me I am striving to become? Or do they forever chain me to the person I once was? You will find, to your terror and your liberation, that many of the people you call your closest allies are in fact psychological hostages you are keeping out of a sense of loyalty. But loyalty to a past that no longer serves you is treason to your future self. It is a betrayal of your highest potential. You must become a ruthless architect of your social environment. This means having the courage to lovingly but firmly distance yourself from the emotional vampires, the chronic critics, the dream stealers who, often with the best of intentions, are slowly poisoning your well of ambition. The pace quickens, the tone becomes more inspirational, filled with vision. But this is only half the battle. To merely prune the dead branches is not to cultivate a garden. The void left by those you release must be filled with intention, with a new species of individual. You must begin the conscious, active pursuit of your new mastermind. This is not networking. Networking is transactional. This is alchemy. You are seeking the human catalysts who will trigger a chain reaction of growth within you. You are looking for the minds whose very presence challenges your assumptions, expands your vision, and ignites your discipline. Where do you find them? You find them in the places where your future self would already be. You find them at the seminars, in the online forums dedicated to mastery, in the pages of the books you are reading, at the front of the room teaching, in the gym at 5 a.m., already living the discipline you are still trying to cultivate. You find them by becoming a person of value yourself. You do not attract who you want. You attract who you are. To draw eagles, you must learn to fly. Initiate. So many sit in silence, hoping to be discovered, hoping to be invited. The true leader of their own life understands that the responsibility for connection lies with them. Reach out. Send the email. Ask the insightful question. Offer value without the immediate expectation of return. The law of compensation is absolute. What you put into the universe of relationships will be returned to you, compounded. When you meet someone who operates at a frequency you admire, study them, not with the sycophancy of a fan, but with the curiosity of a fellow craftsman. Engage them in conversations about philosophy, about failure, about the mechanics of their success. Seek not their secrets, but their systems. Seek not their answers, but the questions they ask themselves. Build these relationships on the solid ground of mutual growth and shared respect. These are not friendships of convenience. They are alliances of purpose. They are the modern-day round table, where the only item on the agenda is the manifestation of grand, individual destinies made possible by collective strength. The tone deepens, becoming more philosophical and strategic. And then you must formalize this alliance. Do not leave it to chance encounters and sporadic text messages. You must institutionalize your growth. Create a mastermind council. This was Napoleon Hill's crowning insight. Gather a small, dedicated group of driven, forward-thinking individuals. Meet with them weekly. with discipline and agenda. Present your challenges, your goals, your blueprints. Let them attack your plans with the brutal honesty you cannot grant yourself. Let them see the blind spots you are too proud to acknowledge. In this crucible of collective intelligence, a third, superior mind is born. A mind that is greater than the sum of its parts. It is in this space that ideas are cross-pollinated, that accountability is forged in fire, and that the impossible is systematically broken down into the inevitable. This is the engine of extraordinary achievement. This is how Thomas Edison, surrounded by a team of brilliant innovators, could hold over 1,000 patents. This is how the Medici family could fuel the Renaissance, by bringing together sculptors, scientists, poets, and philosophers in a single vibrant ecosystem. You are the Medici of your own life. It is your duty to fund, to foster, and to fuel the renaissance of your own potential through the strategic assembly of your own creative court. This extends beyond your immediate peers. Your inner circle is also the information you consume, the voices you invite into your mind through podcasts, books, and media. You are in a constant state of dialogue with the authors you read and the teachers you follow. Are you listening to the whispers of the mediocre masses, or are you dining at the table of the giants? Fill your mental environment with the thoughts of Churchill, the persistence of Lincoln, the vision of Steve Jobs, the discipline of a Navy SEAL. Let their words become the internal dialogue that crowds out the noise of the world. Your mind is a sacred sanctuary. Guard its gates with your life. Allow only those ideas, those philosophies, and those voices that fortify your spirit and sharpen your resolve to enter. Embrace the role of the catalyst within your own circle. As you rise, you have a responsibility to pull others with you. Leadership is not about elevation for oneself. It is about raising the floor for everyone in your orbit. Become the source of energy you wish to draw from. Be the one who asks the powerful question. Be the one who offers unwavering belief when someone shares a fragile dream. Be the one who speaks the language of possibility. In doing so, you not only solidify your own beliefs by teaching them, you create a gravitational pull that attracts more of the same high-caliber energy into your life. You become a node of power in the network of human potential. You stop being a passenger in your social world and become its architect, its generator, its sun. The conclusion builds to a powerful emotional crescendo. The world will try to assign you a circle. It will hand you companions of convenience, colleagues of circumstance, and friends of familiarity. To accept this default setting is to surrender your destiny before the battle has even begun. But to take command, to look at the landscape of your life, and to consciously, courageously, and relentlessly curate the human ecosystem that will either make or break you. This is the ultimate act of self-ownership. This is the mark of the sovereign individual, the person who understands that their environment is not a backdrop to their life, but the very stage upon which it is performed, and that they have the absolute right to cast the characters who will share the spotlight. So today, right now, the command must be issued, not to them but to you. Command yourself to audit. Command yourself to release what holds you back. Command yourself to seek out and attract those who represent your future. Command yourself to build a mastermind. Command yourself to become a person worthy of the circle you desire. This is the invisible force. This is the secret that was never really a secret, only a truth too demanding for the average mind to accept. But you are not average. You are a creator. You are a leader. You are the architect of your fortune, and the first, most crucial building material you will ever work with is the people you choose to stand beside you as you build. Command your inner circle, and you will have commanded your fate. Now go and build your kingdom.